Good day, and welcome to the Phil Barrett Show here at an undisclosed location in Saratoga County. Here with my sidekick and very well-groomed co-host. How you doing today?
Very well, Phil. Thank you.
Yes, you look very well-groomed today.
Dapper.
Even better than normal.
Wow. Coming from you, it's a huge compliment.
Well,
Thank
what
you.
can I say? You look great. So
Wow.
we're glad to be with you here again this week, and we have some exciting guests coming up. But first, want to do what I usually do, start the show with a couple of updates. We had talked recently about the Clifton Parktown Board was considering a moratorium on commercial cannabis operations. And this, again, isn't somebody with a few plants in their backyard. It's a major commercial operation with acres and acres of cannabis growing and buildings, equipment, and everything else, something that you probably wouldn't want next to you in a residential neighborhood. And that's part of our concern. That's the main concern, really. There's been other issues within the county with these operations with regard to odor and other effects of these businesses. Apparently a very strong odor. I don't know, maybe that shouldn't be surprising, but
Can't stand that.
yeah, well, it's if you, especially if you're not used to it. But so anyway, to give us an opportunity to study the state laws and mandates, whatever they have cooked up as far as this legislation goes, and to also consider what we can do on a local level to protect our neighborhoods, protect property owners from this new commercial operation that is now spreading throughout New York State. A good 6-month moratorium does allow us to consider all those factors, do the appropriate research, and maybe even do some site visits. You want to go with us?
Sure, I'll be there.
All right, good.
I'll be there.
So we'll take Jay on some site visits with us. But so
I'll bring my
that's
burner launcher just in case.
in your Cheetos. So that's something that we just did recently. We did go ahead with that, and so again, it's just a way to give us some time to assess all of the possible effects and what we can do on a local level to protect our property owners. Also, back in January, I asked our planning director to give us an overview of traffic enhancements that the Department of Transportation for New York State has been considering and is moving forward with this year in the Route 146 corridor. A couple of years ago, working with them, we were able to attain some grant funding to provide them the funds to go through different options on what we can do to improve traffic patterns in the 146 area. And DOT had come out with a plan that they are going to put in place. And it includes, I'll just give you some highlights of what they're planning to do. There's a reconstruction of 146 and Route 9 intersection, and they're going to remove a southbound and eastbound right turn slip lanes. Now, one thing DOT doesn't like is slip lanes. Do you know what a slip lane is?
No, please elaborate.
So if you're familiar with 146 and Clifton Country Road, for instance, if you're coming from the mall, going to 146, and as you approach the light, if you want to go eastbound, there's that little lane.
Yeah, and everybody stops there for some reason.
Yeah,
Yes, I
so
know exactly what you're talking about.
So you avoid the light.
Correct.
Well, DOT hates those. They don't like slip lanes.
No, they'd rather have a roundabout.
Well, they're not going to do a roundabout, but they don't like slip lanes. Now, and a lot of that goes back to the frequency of accidents. You know, there are more accidents in a slip lane situation as opposed to a stoplight. So they like to remove those at every opportunity. So at the Route 146 Exit 9 intersection, there's slip lanes, both going from 146. You take a right onto 9, there's a slip lane there, and there's one on Route 9 turning onto 146. So they're going to remove those slip lanes and add a lane to take its place. That will be signalized. The slip lanes are not signalized, obviously, because they're a way to avoid pedestrian combinations at the Route 146, Route 9 intersection. And they'll also be replacing the traffic signals, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well. Now, they're also going to add an eastbound lane at the Route 9 146 intersection. Right now, what we experience is there's a tremendous amount of eastbound traffic, particularly in the afternoon. And what happens is if you take that route, if you take Route 146 and you're passing Fire Road, and you're heading towards the 146 Route 9 intersection, you'll notice that there's stacking, a lot of stacking in that far right-hand lane. And that's because there's only one lane getting across Route 9 into Half Moon up by the Lowe's.
Heading towards Mechanicville there.
Right,
Yes.
right. So they're going to add a lane there, which should help that stacking. So instead of being confined to a limited number of options as you're approaching the Route 9 146 intersection, you'll now have one other option, and you'll be able to go eastbound through that intersection in a couple of different lanes, and that should alleviate a lot of that stacking that occurs in the right-hand lane. Because many times there's stacking in that far right-hand lane. In the left lane, there's hardly anybody in it. So this will help traffic flow as far as that's concerned. They'll be doing pavement resurfacing from, I believe, the Lowe's area in Half Moon west to Maxwell Drive in Clifton Park.
Is that all to coincide with that new development going on in that corner?
No, it's just this is to generally address
Traffic.
improvement of traffic, yeah.
Okay.
And there'll also be, now, Fire Road, you know where Fire Road is as
Yeah.
you're turning on to 146. What they're going to do there is they're going to do 2 right turn only lanes. Right now, there's one lane getting in, one lane getting out of Fire Road. So they're going to have two lanes as you approach Fire Road and 146, but they'll be right turn only. They're going to also eliminate the slip lane, as I mentioned, at 146 and Clifton Country Road, and they'll add a lane that will be signalized. So we're not losing lanes, but they'll all be signalized, and their determination is, DOT's determination is that will make for a safer intersection. Now, along with the traffic light improvements, see, right now we still have all of those old traffic lights. And what they're moving to is an adaptive traffic management, traffic pattern improvements. And these new lights are very effective. Right now, the timing of the lights is triggered by a loop in the pavement. Okay? So that loop can get damaged, deteriorates over time, and then to fix it, they've got to dig into the pavement, excavate, fix it, which obviously also causes delays with that construction. With these new lights, they're called intelligent systems. Pretty good title, huh? These new lights are able to monitor traffic patterns, and everything is in the light itself. It's probably the best way to explain it. So there's no longer the loop system, and it can also adjust timing based on what the light is reading. So just the improvement of the lights alone, I think, will be a very good improvement to what we have now. These very old lights that are decades old, I'd love to have DOT replace them all the way up and down 146, and hopefully we get to that point in the future, but not happening yet. So between all of those improvements, we believe it'll be a better situation. This is something DOT is constructing this year. My first question was, is this going to be night work? And it is, thank God. I can't imagine them doing construction during the day in the 146 corridor. So it will be night work. It will be initiated and completed this year. I don't have the exact dates yet, but it'll be into the spring-summer time frame when it starts, and it'll end probably in the fall. But again, we don't have that complete information yet as far as the exact dates. So that's coming up as well, and I don't know if that, like I said, we had a presentation at a January town board meeting. I don't know if that's had any press or been publicized at all other than the town, but I just want to let people know that that's coming down the pike. There's no monies from the town that are included in this. Route 146 and Route 9 are state roads. So the towns of Half Moon and Clifton Park will not be responsible for any of the cost. It's strictly monies from New York State DOT. So I think overall it's a good plan and it will help. It's definitely short of what I wanted. I would much prefer a larger plan with more improvements. But at this point, I think any ground that we can gain in improving that area is very important. So I'm not about to stomp my feet and step in the way. We'll see what the results are coming from what they're going to do, and we'll go from there. But anyway, I wanted to let people know that was coming down because I don't think a lot of people do know about that. So that's it for our updates. We have a great guest today, and I really appreciate him taking time out of his busy schedule to be here. His schedule has become even busier in the last couple of years, and that's Commissioner of the Saratoga County Department of Health, Dr. Dan Cools. How are you, sir?
Dan Cool.
Thank you for having me here today.
Good to see you.
Doctor's in the house.
That's right. That's right. So, Doc Cools, tell us a little bit about yourself and your professional background.
Yeah, sure. So I am a physician epidemiologist. I've been practicing 25 years, different levels of government, primarily in New York State. I'm from upstate New York. Went to college and medical school here, and did my residency training and relocated to Long Island.
Yeah.
And worked at the Nassau County Health Department for over a decade, a variety of different roles and responsibilities, and got a call one day from colleagues at the State Health Department asking me to come up and lead their communicable disease control program, and it sounded like a great challenge. And an opportunity to move back upstate.
Right.
And so I was there for just about 10 years until this opportunity came here to work in my own county and work with the Board of Supervisors to build really at the ground floor, get in on the ground floor and build a full-service health department.
Yeah, and I got to say that since Doc Cools has been the commissioner, the incredible leaps and bounds that the Saratoga County DOH has been able to attain, just an incredible difference. And not only the professionalism and service, but the expansion of services that were incumbent upon us to take, and I want to get into that as well. But maybe for our viewers, if you could just tell us, what are the basic functions and responsibilities of the Saratoga County Department of Health?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what we do is mandated for the overwhelming majority. We have
unfunded mandates, is that right?
We get about
Some of it, yeah.
not fully funded.
Most of it.
We get for for more than, as long as I can remember, and certainly longer than that, the reimbursement on a subset of services to local health departments was 36% of direct costs. A couple years ago, there was a change to add 50% of fringe to that. Now, that's not as generous as other departments, and they keep adding more and more responsibilities without adjusting the funding to localities. We have 7 divisions in the department. We have epidemiology, disease control, public health emergency preparedness, maternal child health. We have environmental health. We have administration, and we have a fiscal unit. And that fiscal unit really does a great job. There's a lot of documentation and oversight to make sure that the county gets every penny that we have eligible back to the county, to our budget, to the county budget. So the programs that we run, so we are responsible for surveillance, investigation, and control of over 70 diseases and conditions. In addition to these diseases and conditions, any cluster or outbreak of anything is reportable to us. So we get about 25,000 reports that need to be evaluated a year.
A year?
A year.
Wow.
We are the provider of last resort for children that in K to 12, you have to have certain vaccines to go to school. Superintendents have to exclude children from school if they don't have those vaccines, and we become the provider of last resort for that. So we're busy doing that. September, October, we do about 150 kids a year.
What do you mean by provider of last resort? Explain that if you will.
So if they don't have a healthcare provider, if they've moved here from another state or from another country, or if their provider doesn't offer the vaccines, we're mandated by law to give them so that they can return to school. Likewise, we have to offer diagnosis and treatment for sexually transmitted diseases. We do about a small number, 50 a year. We are responsible for childhood-lead poisoning prevention, which is a problem in older areas of the country like ours, leaded paint, but also religious and cultural items as people move here from different countries. So in New York State, you have to have a blood test. The doctor has to offer your child a blood test at age 1, on or about age 1 and age 2.
Test
and
for
then
lead.
and then you screen with a questionnaire through age 6 and possibly do more lead testing. So we get 5,000 reports a year that need to be evaluated. We usually wind up with about 60 kids with elevated lead, and 30 of them wind up, give or take, every year in case management on the medical side, and then the environmental health program, previously run by the state health department, now by us, and I know we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Looking at where that exposure might be. Is it at home? Is it mom or dad bringing it home from an occupation? And looking at ways to prevent that contamination from continuing.
Yeah, and I would like to focus on the environmental health side of it. It's something we've talked about on the show before. Once a county hits a population that starts to reach 250,000, the responsibilities that were previously provided by New York State switch over to the county, and Saratoga County is now reaching that number, and New York State was very adamant about us starting an environmental health unit here in the county. So we've been building that out over the last couple of years. It started with and I was appointed to oversee the build-out of that department, working with Dr. Cools and his team and our entire team at the county. It's been a very large undertaking. But basically, what we started with planning with New York State. We talked about how things were going to play out, what the timeline might be, and how we would go about building out the environmental health unit. inspections for pools and camps and restaurant inspections and all of those things. There's many elements to it, but those are some of the more higher profile ones that the state previously did that now the county has taken over. And as part of that environmental health unit build out, we expected to hire at least 20 people, up to 24. And these are folks from all different positions, from sanitarians who actually do the inspections to engineers, and more, and basically give us an idea of how that build out has gone, and what are the types of responsibilities other than what I just mentioned that the county has taken over.
Yeah, certainly. So, we are nearing the end of this process,
Right.
multi-year process, about 3 years. We've taken full responsibility for 18 of the programs. There's 4 left that we will transfer on or about April 1st. And those range from, they start with enforcement of the Clean Indoor Air Act, so smoking, tobacco sales, vapor product sales, whether it be to minors or flavored vapes. Okay. You've got, you mentioned swimming pools.
Yep.
We look at Legionella in cooling towers. We've got bathing beaches, aquatic spray parks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Camps, children's, so campgrounds, children's camps, motels and hotels
Yeah.
are part of that. Migrant farm worker housing. Here in Saratoga, that really winds up being related to the horses.
Sure.
And the,
For the
and
most part,
season,
yeah.
For the most part.
So this is a pretty expansive department
yeah.
that this county had to open up here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 And our biggest concern was from the beginning, and the reason we had to work on a time frame with New York State was we wanted to show them we were serious about doing this and we were going to do it right. But one of our biggest concerns was just finding people, recruiting the right people, getting them on board. You got to realize we started this coming out of COVID, which was another challenge. But just the ability to find people, a lot of these jobs are very specialized, and that was one of our big concerns. So we, as we came up with a timeline as to when we would take over these multiple responsibilities, I think the one we had the most concern about was restaurant inspections, just due to the sheer size and number of food service establishments in the county.
Yeah, so we have in that category that we have around 800 that'll qualify. That'll include restaurants, that'll include mobile food trucks, temporary food. So these are people that may come to an event or two, I don't know, a regular pattern, really, and even vending machines.
Yeah.
So it's
Vending machines are regulated?
vending machines are regulated, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. So some of them have, many of them are prepackaged, chips or what have you. But some of them have ice cream,
Sure.
in
Sandwiches.
sandwiches,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and things like that. So it is it's probably our largest program. It's certainly the one that I think most people think of.
Yeah. So I think it's the most high profile one, and the one that, like I said, just due to the sheer size of the program that you need to maintain to make sure all these inspections are done per New York State mandates, it's a big undertaking.
We're blessed, thanks to the support from Board of Supervisors, yourself, and the administration. We've been very successful in recruiting people with experience and developing positive relationships with businesses. I mean, most people want to do the right thing.
Right.
And education works, and so it's been, I think, very successful so far.
Well, it's nice when you can create a department that's not adversarial to
Yes.
the business
Right.
community that actually wants to work hand in glove, it makes it for the best outcome all the way around.
It does.
And especially the people that use the services and the people you're trying to protect.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times it's really corrective action.
Yeah.
If there's an issue found, it's, look, this isn't the way it's supposed to be. This is the way you're supposed to do it. And trying to guide them in that way as opposed to seeing one small problem and shutting the place down, right? Is that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we strive for. And we also try, when the inspectors go out, business operators will, it's important to explain why,
Right.
just to say you must.
Right.
And we get feedback. The feedback that we get can help make regulations better, right? Or, there may be regulations that are contradictory or unclear, and we can help feed that back into the system because when there's clarity and there's trust, it's better for the public health.
And so if I'm somebody who has a food establishment, or maybe I'm just somebody that needs a temporary permit for events that I sell things at a couple of times a year, what do they see as being different now? They would previously go to New York State for those permits. Now they're coming to Saratoga County. So generally, what are they seeing as a difference? Is there any? I mean, there's no additional steps that they have to take, but what is different for them?
I mean, the biggest difference.
And what should they keep in mind in case there's somebody out there listening that didn't know about this and says, "Oh, geez, I thought I had to go to the state. Now I have to go to the county. What do I do? What does that mean? Where do I go?" So that's I think one of the greatest things that you've done to the greatest extent that you can, working with the Board of Supervisors, is just kind of taking away the concern or the any confusion that might come about because now they're dealing with a whole different entity.
So the biggest change, as you mentioned, was really that the permit has to come from Saratoga County, not from the state or from a neighboring county. But what they'll find in practice is one of the things, because we did not have this kind of legacy infrastructure, is our permitting process is online, right? And so we know people that are trying to open a restaurant or a business. It's labor intensive, it's resource intensive, it's a fiscal investment.
Right.
And this process, instead of using paper with the state and putting it through the mail and all that, everything is
Music to my
online.
ears.
And you pay, and if you choose to, you can pay online, right? So that greatly compresses the time from application to approval. It helps us on our end. We don't need as many staff,
Right.
so our
Sure.
budget is
Right.
less. And when we know this is the first time in 35 years that a county in New York has done this, I'll be shocked if there's another one. People are leaving New York State.
Yeah.
They're not coming to New York State, right?
Unless you come for the benefits.
Right. Yeah.
And so, we know things that get, people didn't know. If you change your phone number or your address for your business or, your email address, the last thing you're thinking of is notifying the state.
Yeah.
And so things are going to fall through the cracks. And we have given people the technology to be cost effective. So they have iPads that they can go out with. If they find somebody at an event, bing, bam, boom, they can just issue it right there. And that way that person can stay in
In compliance.
Yeah.
Well, it's the thing. Most of the time, it's not a matter of not wanting to do it; it's just not knowing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Correct.
I remember
Wanna
when
do the right thing.
the State Department, the Labor Department came at one of my businesses, and I had no idea my son couldn't be at my business. I mean, there's no book that says you can't have your kids at your work. So it was, luckily it wasn't too bad, but they did issue me a fine though. Just
Really?
oh yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So, but it's one of those things where you just don't know. There's so many rules, so many regulations, and it's nice to hear that the Saratoga County is trying to be proactive in their ability to teach as well as make the adjustments on the fly so the business can keep doing what it does best, make money,
Yeah.
be in business.
I personally, and the philosophy here is, right, there's no value, in my opinion, of fining somebody for having the thing on the wrong shelf they didn't know They're not doing it on purpose, and there's no pattern of doing it. It's just they didn't know. It's a little bit of education. We're not trying to generate revenue and be this heavy hand, because when there's trust and partnership between the community and the business and the health department, you might be able to help. There might be a childhood obesity, something. There might be some event or some way
I love
that
you.
we need your help.
Yeah.
And
Great.
that well isn't poisoned, right?
Right.
You're not purposely trying to harm your customers.
Yeah.
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 So
And I think that focus on service, oversight, that's helpful as opposed to clearly being there to punish, is good for everybody, and also just making the whole system more efficient.
Yeah.
Being able to do things online if you choose, which most people would choose nowadays. Being able to pay online, having people in the field, like you said, with the technology and the iPads that they can respond or take information, change information, and provide permits on site, that kind of thing. Incredibly important because, especially when it comes to restaurants and food service, very tough business.
it is.
Very tough business.
Small profit margins and long hours.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
No, it's a very tough business. So anything we can do as a county to help the restaurants and the food service establishments and all the organizations that run pools and camps and everything else, if we can help them be successful and partner, as Doc Cools just said, instead of just being there to write fines and be a heavy hand, I don't think that works for anybody. And as far as having the credibility, I think that does build credibility. And I think we learned during COVID that our public health agencies and credibility are extremely important. We'll leave that to another show, but having credibility as a governmental operation to the best extent we can. There's a lot of things people aren't happy with, but we certainly want to partner and be helpful as much as possible. So I like the fact that it's much more efficient system, much easier for businesses to use, and the customer service
Absolutely.
is key.
Absolutely. And I tell a small story if I can.
Yes,
add here.
please.
You used to be able to call a business or a government, and you would get you were lucky if you were get a human, and then you'd had to do online chat with somebody. And now the online chat is probably an AI chat bot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate those.
And so when you think one of the things we have here that was important to me, it seems small, is when you call the department, you're going to get a human. And here's why. There's method to the badness. You're calling the department, you might be frustrated, you need help, something got wrong. I don't know about you, but when I have to go through 14
I have thrown this phone across the room because of that.
and so when you finally get to me or to the sanitarian or the inspector or the nurse, you're more frustrated. You might be angry, right? How is that conducive for either you or the person on the other end?
Right.
By simply having a human answer the phone right away, all that, it just the
You
tension,
de-escalated.
You've
Yes.
de-escalated, and you've made it a better interaction. You might not like what the sanitarian says or the nurse says or whatever, but it's a more positive interaction, and that person might be able to explain the rationale, and you might be able to explain why. And I keep saying, good ideas come from everywhere. There are many unintended or unforeseen consequences of regulations. And if you don't feed that back into the tree to make things better, it doesn't really benefit anybody.
That's
I
right.
love it.
So
That's right. So now,
Well, I'm loving this guy, by the way.
well, that's good.
Doc,
That's good. He's a good man.
beating my heart here.
Absolutely. So,
Wish all government worked like that.
well, it does in Saratoga
it
County.
does. It's Saratoga.
But we look at the world in a much different way than most areas of New York and other areas. But so now you have a much larger department.
Yep.
As I said, this was something that was incumbent upon us to do by New York State. and I think we've done it. I think we met all of uh, our regulations as concerned to oversight. We met our timeline.
Yep.
We followed through on any commitment we did make with New York State. So we're on time and on budget, which is good. And now I think we have a much better system. And I think people that interact with the Saratoga County Department of Health will see that it is more efficient and a much better situation for them. But now that you have this larger department and with all the other responsibilities you have as the Department of Health, what are your goals for the next few years as far as the department is concerned?
I think that, the most important goal is really to continue. I'm blessed with a wonderful team, and is to continue to instill a culture of trust. And trust is so paramount, right? Trust is something that's hard to earn.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to maintain it every day in your interactions.
And it's easy to lose.
Easy to squander. You beat me to it, Jason.
Yeah.
And if the residents of Saratoga County, the visitors, the businesses, the community-based or faith-based organizations don't have trust in their health department, right, it makes it difficult, if not impossible, for myself and the members of the team to do our job to protect health and safety. And when you lost the trust, it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And so it's a very simple first principles and just trying to routinize that into the culture. We have a young staff.
Yeah, well, overall, yeah.
And
especially environmental health, yeah.
Especially. And
yeah.
So, coming from that, we try very much to be transparent. I hope folks, if they haven't, who see this, if they're interested, we have a plethora of data we've made. We value transparency, right? And then go on our website and see all that data. That's key, transparency. Efficiency, we talked about, an example of that is that online permitting process.
Yep.
I live here too. I want cost-effective services as a resident. And then customer service. Right, and again, I explained kind of that rationale. When you have better relationships with businesses, communities, residents, what have you, it's better overall.
Yeah, and when there is a major issue generally with our society as it relates to health, such as the COVID pandemic, that credibility is something, because then everybody's looking to governmental agencies for guidance and assistance. And I think we learned through the COVID pandemic that, a lot of people did lose trust in federal and the state as far as their credibility with their guidance and assistance or lack thereof, or certain mandates that occurred that were very harmful to a lot of people. And hopefully we've learned some lessons from that, because my concern is if something like that were to happen again, are people going to trust those same voices? And that's why credibility is so important.
I think you hit the nail on the head here, and it's going to be a long road back. I think, especially at the local level, again, just like a business, most people want to do the right thing. And, I think the critical lesson from COVID is trust, but there are others. Humility, right, is paramount. You need to recognize that there are going to be unanticipated or unforeseen consequences of your actions, and you make the best choice you can with the data that's available at the time. But you have to, when the situation changes, you've got to acknowledge that your decision may have been a mistake.
And be nimble enough to change.
And so if you can admit that transparently and honestly, people will say, well, okay, right? He's honest, that's transparent, and you move on. You got to have that humility. As a manager, I value, and this is something that I try to talk to the younger staff about in the department, I can't tell you how important it is to have somebody with a different viewpoint at the table when I'm discussing
Well, I'm
things.
here.
because it's going to help me make a better. You might see something that I don't see, or you're going to put weight on something
Yeah.
that, that's different from me, that maybe more residents, it's going to help me make a better decision or to avoid mistakes.
Right.
And
Yeah, but the fact that you
is
can
critical.
acknowledge that, you're a step ahead of most people because you already know this stuff. It's great.
Early on, I was lucky enough when I was in Nassau
had a good
County.
mentor.
I had great people. I was young, and I had a lot of responsibility relative to my age, and I made mistakes. And those folks that were there a long time, gave me good counsel. And I
And you
hope
learned
they saw
from
good,
that.
and I learned from that. And I'm trying to pay that back now with the younger staff, and they taught me those things.
I think that's the biggest problem with younger people today is they're very rigid in how they think and feel and speak, and they don't understand that it's not always black and white. There's gray. You can learn from every
World is gray.
circumstance.
World is
Yeah, and you can always learn from every interaction with somebody. There's something to be learned, whether it's a positive or a negative or indifferent.
And we did have some younger folks join in our recruitment of people for our environmental health unit. I mean, they came with a great deal of education, which you do need for a lot of these positions because, like I mentioned, they are specialized, but they also had some good experience. And but when they're younger, they do look at the world a different way. And I think that's what you're saying is having that perspective, I think, is always helpful to those of us that have been around a while.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but, and one of my selling points to younger people who were at least interviewing and interested in the position was, we're building out this rather large department or segment of the Department of Health. You'd be getting in on the ground floor. So you would be part of actually building this department from its inception, which I don't know if that was a good selling point, but anyway.
It would be to a Gen Xer, probably not to a millennial.
Yeah, so, I just tried to get that across to them that this is a real opportunity.
Sure.
And as things progress, you can progress with the department. There's opportunity for advancement and career progression. And that was, I think, a big part of what our selling point to new employees and seemed to work. I don't know if that's why they took the job, but sounded good at the time, didn't it?
I think that was...
And it is true.
It is absolutely true. And we've already been able to show and demonstrate people that have, in just these 3-4 years that have been able to go from an entry level or a line level up. And so when the colleagues see that there is a path in Saratoga County, their words and their actions are congruent.
Right.
They said there's a pathway, and look, it may not be me this time, but the person 2 desks down is moving up in the organization and their hard work being rewarded. I think that makes a big difference. Same thing as, trust, when the words and actions are congruent.
Right.
It makes a big difference.
How long has that department been open? Your department?
Well, it goes back many.
Well, the
many
department-
years.
That you took over the food
4 years. So I've been here 4 years.
4
So
years.
when the state law is that you have to have a physician commissioner at that population level. So previous to that, it was the department was primarily a home care nursing agency that did, these other things like some health education and disease investigation. But when you add the environmental health, that's what triggers the change in the number and type of staffing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's based on population.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's worked out very well, and I'm glad that at least the process of building it out is almost done now. What's it been? Has it been 3 years?
It's been 3 years.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh! So seems like only yesterday.
It does.
Yeah, but so it's been a long process, but I know I learned a lot during the process, and I think we're in a very good place. You were talking about vaccines before. Are people still getting the COVID vaccine in large numbers?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, once in a while I'll talk to somebody that said they, you got the vaccine, but I mean, is that happening in large numbers?
No, we went from a peak of about, because of the way it's reported, it's the number of doses reported that were administered to Saratoga County residents. So the peak was about 400,000 doses in 2021, soon after the vaccine became available. And last year we had about 40,000
Oh, so there's still 40,000.
doses, not patients,
Right,
doses,
okay,
but that's like,
okay.
that's like a 90%, tenfold decrease.
Yeah, yeah.
And doses. And those that are getting, that continue to get the COVID vaccine, they skew older or with comorbidities. They might look like me, that are
Or have green hair.
a little overweight. Our chairman tries to get me not to watch my sugar and get some more
Oh,
exercise.
Mr. Anti-Sugar here, Jesus.
I struggle
Holy
like
crap.
everybody else to make sure those words and
He's the reason why I don't have a soda,
are
because you
congruent.
like eagle-eyes me the whole entire show.
Yeah.
so. But that's how it's skewing, and that's really a national trend.
Great. What's the so for anybody out there that might be watching and saying, "Oh gosh, I got to deal with the county now. How do I get there? What do I do? What's the contact information?"
So if you like the phone, it's 518-584-7460. You'll get a human,
Yeah, good.
which is good.
Yeah.
If you like just the website, it's www.saratogacounty.ny.gov/departments/health.
Very good.
On that landing page, you'll see environmental health if that's what you're interested, or our data hub. And email. If it's a general email, you can send it to healthadmin@saratogacountyny.gov. If it's environmental, you can send it to environmental@saratogacountyny.gov.
Very good. Very good. That reminds me, I had another update that I didn't mention, and that just to get off course here for a second, but speaking of mandates, New York State has another mandate just recently publicized that any government agency that does not have a .gov web domain name has to change it to .gov.
So now's the time to go up and buy some domains.
Well, you can't buy a government domain. That's the only benefit to it, really. I mean, I want to get an IT person on the show to talk about this, because I'd like to learn more about the inner workings of it. But basically, municipalities like Clifton Park that are cliftonpark.org, we have already ordered our domain name. We put something up on social media and our website a few weeks ago, just to alert residents that we will be making this change probably in the April timeframe. The mandate gives every municipality till the end of the year. However, we're coming out in the April timeframe with a brand new program that's going to be, I think, a real benefit to residents as well as our government operations internally, as far as processing and publicizing information in a detailed way that'll be easier for people to access. We have other options where you can access different types of information, but this program's going to bring it all together and be a much better way for people to access information and things that are going on in Clifton Park. Now, we need a domain name attached to that program. So naturally, I said, well, let's change it now. Let's get it done now. It's going to be cliftonparkny.gov. Let's change it now. So we ordered it, and that way, when we roll out this new informational program for residents, everything will match.
Although I will
That makes
tell you
sense, right?
anecdotally why I think it's a great idea, although I hate mandates. But you type in DMV, and you'll get DMV.coms, and they're all businesses. But if you go to DMV.gov, it's definitely the government.
Yeah.
So I could see why they would maybe do that. Seems like common sense, but obviously they have to mandate it.
Well, there's many municipalities that don't have a .gov. So if you live in a town, city, village that does not have a .gov, then you're going to see the same thing. They're going to be changing it. So we'll get into that more, but I did want to update that. So it's going to be cliftonparkny.gov. But again, we just put something out a few weeks ago just to alert residents that it will be changing. We'll keep the .org address. I don't want somebody buying that address and then setting up a shadow domain or shadow
Clifton
page.
Park government.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay your taxes at
Since we've had cliftonpark.org since we initialized a website very early in my tenure as town supervisor, excuse me, we initialized the initial website, cliftonpark.org, when I was in office, a brand new supervisor as a young man.
in the early 90s.
Had my whole life ahead of me. Early 90s. No, not that far back. Early 2000s. I think we did it in 2000. So that was my first year. But yeah, so we've been cliftonpark.org for forever. Some will say that it's an extra level of safety and security. I'm not sure that's the case. But the one good thing about it is it's a definitive identifier that you are a government agency.
Like I said.
Whether that really matters too much, I'm not sure. But because people will find you if you're the town of Clifton Park or any other governmental agencies, even Jay will be able to find it.
Yeah, but see, if you don't have .gov, then you could get somebody who thinks you're dealing with the town, and you're not dealing with the town.
Well, I don't know.
It's private.
Like I said, we'll get into it in another show. I just wanted to make sure I updated everybody on that. Dr. Cools, Saratoga County DOH Commissioner, thank you so much for being here and providing the perspective of the Department of Health in Saratoga County. And I can't thank you enough for all the work that you've done, in addition to everything you were responsible for when you started the job. This environmental health build-out has been a huge undertaking. It's gone very smoothly. But it is a change for folks who deal with permits and other items with a health agency. So I think it's important to hopefully erase some confusion for those people. Now they know where to go if they need permits and other things. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, and on behalf of the department and its staff, for the support that you've given public health and the full board of supervisors and the administration as well. It's really a team effort.
Yeah, it really is. But thank you for your leadership and guidance, and the fact that you have the outlook that you have is incredibly important, not only to us as public officials, but every resident of the county. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we have another guest coming in, and I think we're going to just make a quick switcheroo here. This is the first time we've had two guests.
Back to back, no
But
less.
I was contacted by, let me go out and get them.
So you're going to leave
Jay,
me all,
can you,
you're gonna leave
can
me all
you
alone
tap
here?
dance or
Oh,
anything?
boy. He's going to trust me on his show
Go
here.
ahead, just talk about something. God knows what.
So we have a special guest coming in to talk about their passion here. Phil's going to go get them. Pretty exciting. We were trying to debate if we were going to do this on the fly or cut out and do a different show, but we figured, you're a good cast. We're a good cast, and we have an audience that's fully understandable about what we do here, so we figured we'd do it all at once. Phil is greeting our guests, and we'll get them in here and see how he does. Look at this dapper fella.
Make the quick switcheroo.
So, hey,
here.
there's Pete.
Right here, sir.
Pete Bardunes.
The chair,
If you want to grab a couple of chairs out there, you can grab some chairs.
All right. See, we've never done this. We've never had two guests on the show at the same time.
It's crazy.
So this little switcheroo thing, well, I think that was pretty smooth. wasn't it?
Mixing things up here.
Yeah, I think that was pretty smooth. Wasn't too bad.
Left me all alone up here.
Christopher Spath from the town of Clifton Park. How you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good. And you have
Welcome here.
This is Jay.
Nice to meet you, Jay.
Hello, mister.
He's difficult to deal with, but
Yeah.
just
I'm the easy one. trust
do
me.
do the best you can.
Okay.
But you tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you go to Shen.
Yeah, I go to Shenandoah.
Bring the mic a little.
Oh
closer
yeah,
so
bring it a
you
little
can-
closer to you.
There we
go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Uh,
There you go.
better?
Better.
There we go. Yeah, I'm Christopher Spath. I'm a junior at Shenandoah High School, and I am a student visionary for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Oh, very good. Very
Nice.
good. So tell us a little bit about your initiative. You have a very wide-ranging community initiative where you're attempting to raise money, correct? And,
Yes.
And I know it's a battle for you personally, based on your experience with your family members and something that's very meaningful to you. So, and I know we have. I wanted to get them in because we only have a short time frame before that effort ends. So, if we can help you with your fundraising, we want to do that. So, tell us a little bit about what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to raise money for cancer research. All of the money from my campaign will go to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and they will use it for research, for a cure for cancer. They will use it for patient support to help them, and they will use it for advocacy to help laws get passed to protect the patients. I'm also here, though, to spread awareness about cancer in general, because my dad was diagnosed when he was only 26.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it could happen at any age. Just trying to tell people, be vigilant, get checked for cancer. If you have any suspicion, even if you don't, just get checked. You might be surprised.
Well, you never know, right? We never know what's happening within us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us why this is so meaningful to you. I know you just mentioned your dad, but why is this important for you to embark upon this effort?
Yeah, I was nominated by my aunt, Ashley Clausen. She is a leukemia. It was either leukemia or lymphoma. I think it was lymphoma. Yeah. What happened was she and her twin. It was her twin that she got diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And then she told her, "Hey, you should probably also get checked as well." She also had thyroid cancer. So when she got that done, and then later she found out that she had lymphoma. So that's just a small bit. We've had 8 different types of cancer in total in my family.
Wow.
And we've had 5 members of my family have had cancer.
Wow. So obviously that makes it very
Very impactful.
personal to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about the actual campaign that you're embarking upon. You're getting a lot of notoriety. People are really pushing it out there, trying to spread the word about what you're looking to do. So tell us about the campaign itself. I'm sure there's people out there that would love to participate.
Yeah. We are coming up on the end of my campaign. Right now, we have 8 days left, I think. The campaign ends March 6th. But we do have 2 more events before then. We have a pool tournament event up at Fort Edward, where we'll be hosting 50/50s, raffles for items, and we also have a glow night for parents and for children to attend and just have fun.
And where's the glow night going to be?
I think it's at Eagle Crest.
Oh, okay. Eagle Crest? Oh, great. Do you have a date on that?
That would be March 1st.
March 1st. I'm just going to write this down, too. Eagle Crest, March 1st, glow night. Is there a time on that? 5 o'clock? Great. So, anybody can go.
Yes.
Right.
We have, it's mainly for children and their parents, but yes.
Okay, great. So, Eagle Crest Golf Course, right off 146A in the beautiful town of Clifton Park on March 1st, glow night, 5 o'clock.
Yes.
All right, great. Sounds like fun.
Yep.
Parents' night out?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, a little parents' night out. Give parents a break.
Now,
Kids play.
you mentioned something up in Fort Edward. Where is that going to be?
I think it's at.
We're gonna put all this on the
Yeah.
show here.
Yeah,
That's why we want to know.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll push it out.
Right. It was at the Q and Brew.
Q and Brew in Fort Edward. All right. Well, we'll get all the details. Yeah.
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 So this is a pretty, pretty big endeavor for you.
Yeah.
What have you learned and taken away out of all this? What's your drive to keep going?
It's definitely given me a lot more. I've just learned to be more motivated about things. I've also, since I have a team that I do this with, I could never do this alone.
Yeah.
Big lesson.
Yeah, I have learned a bit to go ahead and build that team to motivate them to work as well. It's very helpful for me.
Yeah.
So
lot of life lessons
leadership,
out of it, yeah.
leadership, time management,
Yep.
making sure that you have a plan, executing that plan. Plan changes as you go, so you always have contingency plans, right?
Dealing with adversity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all very important lessons at a young age. So I give you a lot of credit for
I
that.
like that tie, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really cool. I'm a tie guy, so I love ties. Not that I ever wear one.
I was just gonna say I've never seen you wear it.
Just like ties.
Well, now you know what to get them for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tie.
All right, so we'll get all the details on these, and we'll push them out. But at least people have a little time to plan for that March 1st fundraiser at Eagle Crest on 146A Glow Night at 5 o'clock for parents and kids, and also Fort Edward. So this is really a wide-ranging county. I mean, this isn't just a Clifton Park. It's a Clifton Park initiative. This is going county-wide.
Yeah, we've done this. I wouldn't say all around upstate New York, but we've done it in quite a few places. We've had more than one pool tournament. We've had one before.
Mm-hmm.
So that was at Trick Shots.
Oh, yeah.
The pool tournament you're talking about.
Yeah, the pool tournament.
Yeah.
My bad. I should have specified.
That's okay.
Yeah. We also had 2 events at the Shaker Heritage Society Museum.
Oh, nice.
Those were some paranormal investigations. Thank you to Orange County Paranormal. They were great.
So you've really diversified in some of the events you've had, kind of
Yeah.
attract different groups from different people, and
Yep.
that's pretty cool. Paranoia,
Yeah, we're trying to.
paranormal activities. I mean,
Yeah, we've been trying to.
Cool.
Paranoia?
well, I'm right next to you. I worry sometimes, Phil. You know,
Can we have a paranoia festival?
I would be there. I'm a little paranoid myself. I meant paranormal, Phil. Thanks.
That might be a
Thanks,
hell of
Phil.
a fundraiser. Paranoia
Yep.
festival.
Yep. Jot that down.
Very good.
But yeah, we are just trying to. We're not only trying to go ahead and do campaign, like do the campaign, get events, raise money. We're trying to also just be fun and be different.
Yeah.
We obviously still do the restaurant nights that most people did. We had one at the Doghouse recently. We did one at Blaze Pizza, at Druthers. We did all the normal stuff, but also we want to just do things that no one else has done before, really.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what's nice, I'm sure, is you have a lot of people that are probably cancer survivors that come to these events, so it gives them an opportunity to, have a little more normalcy, have some fun, take their mind off what they're going through, and so that's always very, very helpful. That's probably the unintended great part of what you're doing. And not only you're raising money, but you're allowing people to have a little bit of a laid back time and not think about what they're going through in their lives.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
I've
awesome.
I've talked at our events. Many cancer survivors, and current cancer patients have come up to me. They've told me thank you for what I'm doing,
Sure.
and it means a lot to me to know that I can meet the people that I'm having an impact on. I can meet and talk to them and see what they're going through, and let them know that there are people that are helping.
Yeah. Now, do you have a Facebook page?
We do have a website.
Our website? Okay.
Yeah, it's
What is that?
on lls.org. If you go to Upstate New York Student Visionaries, it will be under Team Finish the Fight. That is
Team
my-
Finish the Fight. Okay.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very
there you can donate, read more on our post, read more about my why, and just follow along with my mission.
Yeah, I was on there the other day. It's very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, they were able to go. They have these student visionaries like Chris, and they have their own page, and it updates everybody as to what they're planning and what they're doing. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So, so this ends on March 6th.
Yes.
Then, do you have any plans to do any further efforts on this? You're probably just worried about this right now, but obviously this is something personal to you, and I'm sure you'll continue to do other things to support LLS and research and hopefully finding a cure.
Yeah, I'm right. I don't think I'll be doing another Visionaries campaign because next year's my senior year.
Right.
I gotta focus a lot on schoolwork there.
Yeah.
But I am going to. I'm currently still trying to find another person that I can myself nominate to be a student visionary,
Nice.
and maybe have
Mentor them or something.
mentor them. Just ask them, hey, would you like to do the thing that I'm doing right now, and show them how to do it if they want to. Yeah, so that I'm trying to do that. Obviously, if there's any other events that are hosted by Visionaries or anything for LLS, I will be going to that. Just supporting LLS and making sure that I'm still part of helping with everything. But I don't think I will be doing Student Visionaries again, but I will be doing a lot more for LLS, hopefully.
But that's how you compound on your on what you've accomplished by being a mentor, continuing your efforts and your accomplishments through somebody else, helping them do what you did and helping them to maybe do even more than you did. And that's how you carry on a legacy that's very important. So it's very nice that you're thinking along those lines. That's very awe-inspiring.
Very good.
So next year is your senior year.
Yeah.
And what are your, do you have any plans yet on what you want to do after high school? Do you have any goals at this point?
Yeah, I plan to go to college for computer science.
Wow.
My two decisions right now are most likely going to be either Siena or UAlbany.
Oh, very good.
Staying local, nice.
Very good. Well, my oldest son went to Siena, had a great experience, so I can give them a good reference to you.
Okay.
So if you do choose to go there, you'd probably like it. It's a lot smaller than the Shen campus.
Yes, definitely.
But it's a nice
Siena
environment.
is small, but
Yeah,
Nice, though.
it's a nice environment. It really is, and they do a nice job there. Yeah, he had a great experience there. So UAlbany, didn't have any kids go to UAlbany, but Siena, I can say, was a good experience.
Yeah, everywhere I go, I hear Siena's, it's a really small school. It's very local. It's very tight-knit community, very small. And then everyone I talk to, they're always like, oh, yeah, I went to Siena. I had a friend who went to Siena. And everyone knows someone who went to Siena.
Yeah.
So it's very nice that people who go to Siena also just stay here.
So computer science.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe we can hire him
Yeah,
for the
really.
podcast.
Yeah.
You got two guys that don't know anything about computers trying to do a podcast in this studio with all this equipment. It's not easy.
it's not. And I'm all thumbs.
So what? So when you study computer science, what do you? It's interesting because technology changes. I mean, every day.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable with AI and all these different programs, quantum computing, and some of the things. We talk about finances on the show and stocks from time to time, and just talking about all these burgeoning industries where these stocks are available for people to buy, and they can be very volatile. They go up and down quickly, so be careful if you invest in them. But it's just a way to talk about all the technological advancements. Do you have any idea yet? I mean, by the time you get out of college, I can't imagine quantum computing might just finally be hitting its stride. But any idea what you want to do once you have your degree in the area of technology and computers?
I don't know exactly, but my main idea is probably to work for some sort of IT department. I don't know in what way, but just some form of IT and
Yeah.
No way. I don't know how really to explain it. Just IT.
That's enough said. There's
So many changes, kind of hard to pinpoint
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say one thing now, and then 2 years later, it's gone.
yeah, right. That's the thing.
Things evolve so quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm sure you'll stay nimble, you'll learn new things, and as technology changes, you'll stay on top of it, and that's what a good IT person does. There's a lot of demand for IT services, so always looking for good people in there. So Chris Bath, LLS student visionary, and his campaign to raise money for LLS efforts ends March 6th. and he's got some events coming up. We just talked about those. We'll push out more information about that. We'd love you to have to participate in what he's attempting to do. He's investing a great deal of his time and efforts to help others, and any way that we can help you, we want to do. Do you have any events? Is there an event on the 6th as well?
There's not an event on the 6th. On the 6th, there is a Student Visionaries grand finale that LLS hosts for all the teams and everything, for just to showcase what every team has done and all the work that they put in, all the effort they put in, and all the money they raised.
Oh, great. Oh, that's fantastic.
So
So
is
it's kind of an end of the campaign night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
cool.
So is there a place that people can go there listening to the podcast right now to either a Venmo account or some place they can send you some money or donate some money?
Yeah, to donate to my campaign,
Yeah.
the main way and easiest way would be to go to the LLS Student Visionaries of the Year Capital Region website, and then look for Team Finish the Fight. It's either going to say Team Finish the Fight or Christopher Spath. I really don't know. Half the time I feel like it says one, half the time I feel like it says other. It will have a picture of me on it, and if you go there, you can donate to my campaign. You can read more about my campaign. You can see events that we're hosting and double
I will
check.
put the link in the comments then.
Yeah, absolutely. And Christopher's last name is spelled Spath, Spath, Christopher Spath. So when you find that name, you know you're in the right place. Would you be able to come to our next town board meeting? Just give us an update at the top of the meeting.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right. Well, I'll be in contact with you. I'll let you know it's this coming Monday. So we'd love to have you.
Okay.
All right. Great.
Pressure's on.
Yeah.
Pressure's on.
Absolutely. So
Phil putting you on the spot like that, I wouldn't take that.
he can take it. He can take it. Look how well spoken he is.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm impressed actually.
Yeah,
Thank
he's a junior. How old are you?
16.
16.
Quite the endeavor for such a young man.
Yeah.
Yep. I got my speech in my pocket right here that I use at all my events.
Well, let's hear it.
He's got undershirts
let's-
that are
let's-
16 years old. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
every time.
Jesus Christ. I think this is the only reason why he has me on his goddamn show. This is
Hey.
comic relief here. Comic relief.
Watch your language.
But yeah, no. This is like I just every single time. I'll just go through my speech. I'll go ahead, and whether I'm talking to a potential sponsor, whether I'm talking to a room of people, whether I'm just doing in general talking to someone about my campaign, I think I probably have it memorized by now.
Yeah.
I will be telling them it's filled with my why. It's filled with, I think, now that I think about it, every single thing almost every word I've said has come from this speech. There is nothing like, yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, right.
That's probably why I
So
remember
take
it.
the opportunity here, look into the camera, and tell people your speech.
Yeah.
Right there.
Stump speech.
There's the camera.
There it is.
There it
So
is.
go ahead. Tell them, pretend they've never met you, and you are seeing them for the first time.
Okay. 8, 5, 26, and 0. My father and his immediate family have had at least 8 different types of cancer. 5 members of that nuclear family have had cancer. My father was 26 when he was first diagnosed. Out of all those numbers, 0 is the most important one to me. That's how many more times I hope we have to deal with this horrible illness. I have young cousins, and I'm fighting for myself and for them, so that one day we won't have the specter of cancer looming over our lives as well. Too many members of my family have been knocked down by cancer but are still fighting. All of us, except for my grandfather, who succumbed to his 4th type of cancer in 2022. We fight for his family to have healthier futures. My name is Christopher Spath. I'm a junior at Shenandoah High School, and I accept the nomination by my aunt Ashley Clausen to be a student visionary for 2025. The goal for my campaign is to raise money for cancer research, to let people know that it can happen at any age, to be vigilant, and to know that the Leukemia Lymphoma Society have some amazing resources for those who are in their own battles against blood cancer. 50% of women and 33% of men can expect to get a cancer in their lifetime. 10% of these cancers are blood cancers. That means one person, approximately every 3 minutes, is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Enough is enough. My team name is Finish the Fight, and that is exactly what I am hoping to do. With all the work that I'm doing here, with all the people that I'm talking to, with all the events that I'm hosting, and right now, just by going here and talking about my campaign, even when my campaign's over, hopefully there will still be people listening to this. They will go ahead. They will go to LLS. They will donate to someone, if not some other Student Visionaries campaign, they will just donate to LLS itself. Because no matter what, there are always going to be people that are willing to help, that are willing to fight, and that are willing to do something for a good cause.
Nice.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you.
And you wrote that yourself?
You're not gonna
Pretty
run
good.
for supervisor soon, right? Oh, jeez. Maybe you
lot
can run for
he's-
public office.
He's
at
a
some
lot
point.
better looking.
Yeah, well, that's not hard to do. Come on. But congratulations, and we appreciate what you're doing to help so many people. And I know this is a personal fight for you, and you've been successful. We talked about all the things that you've learned in this campaign, and you'll carry on those lessons for many, many years. And it's great to hear that you're going to eventually, hopefully, mentor somebody, and when you find the right person, so they can carry on what you've started. So God bless you, Chris.
Thank you.
And we'll get all that information up. We'll push it out. We'll push it out on the town page as well, so people know where they can go to help, and the events coming up that they can be involved with. And we wish you a lot of success as you end your campaign here in the next week or so.
Yep. Thank you for allowing me to be on here. Thank you for allowing me to tell my mission, tell people about the work LLS is doing, and just be here.
And your great story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very well spoken, very well done, don't you think, Jeff?
Love it.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Sharp kid.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sharp kid. Thank you, Chris. God bless you.
Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes, absolutely. So more to come with Chris's campaign. We'll get some more information out on what he's doing and his efforts. We had two great guests today.
You had them packed deep today.
on very different topics. We had the Saratoga County Department of Health Commissioner, Dr. Dan Cools, here today to talk about the Department of Health and the build-out of the Environmental Health Unit at Saratoga County. Christopher Spath, who's out there working hard to help people suffering from cancer, and hopefully will find a cure, and hopefully his efforts will prevent people from getting cancer, or making sure they get checked early and it's found early, so that way they can have a successful battle. So we need to support youngsters like Chris who are out there. We're always saying we want youngsters to be involved and do great things.
Good example.
But if we don't support them, what are we showing them? So let's support them in every which way we can in their chosen effort and initiative. So it's great to see initiative by a nice young man who's 16 years old.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good endeavor.
Do you have any closing thoughts, my friend?
No, I think you've covered everything. You've been very long-winded today.
Well, I typically am long-winded.
Yeah.
It's
But an absolute endearment.
yeah. Well, I certainly took it that way. Certainly wouldn't take it personal,
thank
of
God.
course. So don't forget, subscribe, like TGM Studios.
The Phil Barrett Show.
You don't want to miss a Phil Barrett show. So if you subscribe, you'll know when they're coming up. And you don't want to miss it. You want to be a part of it. And if you're somebody who has a great message like Chris, who does want to be on the show and get
Come on down.
more, let me know. I'm easy to find. over there at
Not as easy to get along with, though.
over there at cliftonpark.org. All right? Yeah. Well, when it's
Soon
.gov,
to be
I'll-
.gov.
yeah, so based on what you're saying, once it's .gov, I'll be easier to find. I don't agree. But anyway, thank you so much. Again, like and subscribe the show, TGM Studios. God bless you. We'll see you next week.
Until
Thank
next
you.
time.
God bless you.